All right, welcome back here. This is our final Prospects Nation TV webcast. It's the BrandonClayPSB Bracket Championship. The Atlanta Lady Celtics against the Georgia Hoopstars. A quick pickpocket there. Layup just short though. That was number 23, Ebony Hargrove.
Hargrove had a good day earlier against FBC. I'm sorry, AOT in their matchup. Hit threes early, got to the rim late. 2016 prospect with good length.
Tiana Swearinger with the ball and the spin move. Floater won't go down for her. Still a couple oohs and ahs. And by the way, this is Marcus Burnett. I'm joined by Kyle Moore and JL Hemingway here on this championship webcast.
Hoopstars came out in a man-to-man.
Taylor Tucker gets it to go from outside. She's out of Redan High School, no stranger to this Lady Celtics program, but also state champion here in the state of Georgia this past season.
I feel like all the Redan kids play for the Celtics.
One of the most recent Celtics graduates, Jada Bird, signed on to play college ball, I believe, at Memphis.
That is correct, Marcus.
5-second violation against Alexis Brown.
Alexis Brown earlier today was aggressive off the bounce, looking to make plays. There, she probably should have just given it up or at least picked up her dribble to avoid the 5-second count.
Yeah, being aggressive at that position kind of runs in the family. Sister of Tukey Brown. Also plays there in Morgan County.
Nice.
But Hemi, some of the dynamics you're looking to in this game based on the strong points of the Hoopstars, the Celtics team, what are going to be some of the key areas you want to look for both squads?
I look, first and foremost, guard play. You know, how effective is Tiana Swearinger and Alex Frazier, you know, in the backcourt? How effective are they going to be, you know, here today? Now, for the Atlanta Celtics, I really like their wing play. You know, we've seen it with Hargrove and here, you know, Taylor also hitting a three. I think they've got the advantage maybe a little bit on the wing and, you know, with the length inside with Steele. And, you know, right on cue here we got transition play. So I think it's going to come down to guard play. Can Alexis Brown of the Celtics and their other guards be able to negate the talent of the Hoopstars or vice versa with the Celtics and their ability to drive from the wing?
Ebony Hargrove knocks down that pull-up jumper. Ebony out of Putnam County High School in Edenton, Georgia.
That sounds like it's the middle of nowhere. Edenton doesn't sound like Atlanta.
No, not at all. Not at all. I just know you head somewhere down 75 and then hop on a state road. It's safe to say that's a general description of how you get to Putnam.
That's about all I need to know. I ain't going.
The hesitation and then to the rack. Number 32, Taylor Tucker.
Tucker getting started early. Last game it was Hargrove. This game Tucker wants to get in on the early action.
They have a 6-2 advantage here. Puenge looking inside for Swearinger.
Don't know if that's where you want Swearinger catching it with that type of length around the basket.
Duncan back up top to Puenge. Puenge out to Frazier for three. No good. They're going to say the ball stays with the Hoopstars. Last touch by Alexis Brown. Caitlin Duncan with it. Has that shot blocked there by Hargrove.
Hargrove using those arms. Hargrove kind of reminds me of a player that went to Boston College and transferred to James Madison named Jasmine Gill. Similar body type, similar game. Jasmine Gill played for Lady Phoenix. I believe she was a 2011 grad, maybe 2010. but they're both very similar in terms of their game.
With the ball now for the Celtics, Isis Walker. And Hargrove has a very great wingspan. You kind of touched on it earlier as we saw her use it to block that shot. You got some long arms, man. 4-point advantage for the Celtics. Hargrove set to inbound the ball again. Walker with it, back out top to Brown. Brown putting it on the deck. They're gonna call a jump ball, but it'll stay with the Celtics. Looks like Brown wanted a foul call there.
Don't they always?
Baseline drive by Walker out to Hargrove. Shot no good. Hargrove tips that ball, but right to Caitlin Duncan.
It's good to see Hargrove being aggressive early. We talked last game about her kind of being passive, especially in that second half. Three in the corner.
Timmy, what's the best synopsis you would give us of a Frazier? She's always aggressive there for Coach J.D. Davis's Hoopstar team. But for some of the coaches that are asking where she'll be at the last weekend in April and things of that nature, what are they kind of looking to see as far as Frazier's concerned?
Well, first and foremost, Frazier's a playmaker. She plays a lot of point guard. She can handle the ball. But I think she's got that scorer's mentality, very good, in the mid-range and getting all the way to the bucket. You see her hit that three, and that's really an element of her game that she's really worked on and worked hard to develop. Whether you classify her as a point guard, shooting guard is really going to be up to the type of team that she ends up. And you'll see her a lot of times bring the ball up and initiate the action like you'll see right here. Right now, and gets a little bit too deep on that particular one, but first and foremost, Frazier is a playmaker.
Speaking of playmaker, Tiana Swearinger's been known to do that a few times as well. She kicks it out to the aforementioned Frazier that you just talked about, and she knocks it down.
Yeah, playing Swearinger and Frazier together in that backcourt, it's a great 1-2 combo right there because both of them can play on the ball, off the ball, and they complement each other because they can both score in the mid-range. And then you put Poirier. Poirier is really the X factor. She can get hot on the wing and hit a couple of threes. Now you've really got a very legitimate backcourt scoring threat for Coach Davis's Hoopstars.
Rain Beeman, number 15, in the game for the Hoopstars, as well as number 2, Kelsey Arnold. Ball's going to be last touch by the Celtics. They say go back over to the Hoopstars.
The biggest challenge for Coach Davis this year is really going to be a lack of height, a lack of interior presence. You see they got Duncan, playing the 5 position, and quite honestly, they're running a lot of 5 out, here on offense. But, with Bree Saunders having to, man the 5 position a lot of times, when she has to go to the bench, whether it's for rest or for foul trouble, they get pretty small pretty quickly. So they have to find ways to, manufacture an inside presence oftentimes.
Frazier, is go time for her. She puts it on the deck there, gets a trip to the strike. We've seen a lot of good guard play today, fellas. Some of the better performances up to this point, in you guys' opinions.
Well, first and foremost, you really got to like what Team Elite, Kirk Pointer's squad did. Kayla Pointer, Kia Harris, Tora Cook. Those kids did just a fantastic job of knocking off, Pistols Martin today and Asia Durr. And now for a second week in a row, Team Elite not only has knocked off Central Florida Elite a couple of weeks ago in the Spring Showdown, and now knocking off Pistols Martin. Just shows, just how solid those young guards are.
Yeah, with Pointer Elite, I mean, their reputation kind of precedes them as far as the players that they have, what they were able to do for their high school teams, but also, on the travel circuit as the years go on. But they continue to impress here early on in the travel season. So we got a 6-8 ball game here. Kyle, is this game and some of the matchups or the dynamics in it gone as you would have envisioned prior to the start?
Yeah. I mean, I think these are two teams that are definitely going to junk it up, and I don't know what this is going to be. This is going to be like Big East basketball in the early 90s, where we could have a 25 or 28 final. It's not going to be pretty. That's for sure.
Even if it's not pretty, I hope you didn't just really speak a 25 to 28 final on us. That is going to be a toughie. We're definitely going to have to pull out a lot of JumpOffPlus.com notes from you and Hemi and elaborate on some subjects if that's the case. You got Beeman up top now, looking to put the move on. Too strong.
Every time I hear Beeman, I think of Willie.
Steaming Willie Beeman. Shout out to any given Sunday fans out there. As Uche earns a trip to the free throw line.
John Woods, our lead official, rocking the white socks with the black shoes. I don't know if that's a good look for him. I think he should have went with the black sock. What about you, Hemi?
I'm going to defer right now. Every time I put something on, you seem to make fun of me these days, so I'll really just defer to you.
Marcus, how do you feel about the white on the black?
Hey, man, I think you just got to do you. I look at a guy like Kirk Heinrich, real Heinrich-like over there, and, and you look at the amount of years Heinrich's been able to play in the NBA, so he's doing something right. So I say, hey, if it works for you on court, man, you stick with it and roll with it.
Sounds good to me. We've got a timeout.
Timeout in the action. Bracket championship here for the BrandonClayPSB bracket. We appreciate you joining us. We know we've got NBA playoff games going on. It's a Saturday, a lot of different things that can compete for your time. We appreciate you watching here on ProspectsNationTV. Shout out to Chris Hansen, Chris Watkins, those guys. The Chris's do a great job with all of our other Prospects Nation TV content, as well as the two gentlemen joining me here on the mic for doing what they do from a scouting and evaluator's perspective.
And first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to Jonathan Hemingway, who I stay under his skin, but that's my guy. So I'm glad to be sitting next to him calling this game.
Thanks, Kyle. Glad to be here with you, too.
There was no hostility in any event.
I feel like the Chris and Kyle show, their whole purpose in life is to get under my skin. Whether it's with text messages, phone calls, group text messages, I guess it's just really easy to irritate me.
So they're versatile, man. They're like a lot of the players. They're like a Caitlin Duncan we've seen in this game. They're versatile, man.
Can score in the post, can knock down the three, hit the mid-range, handle the ball a little bit. It's all about versatility.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a versatile type player. I'm finesse. I don't really like people bumping into me, getting in my way. Just set me, just let me, set some screens for me. Let me get my space, get my shot off. These guys seem to bump me up a little bit, much like the bad boys.
So we're having some bump ups there on the court as we've had quite a few balls be scrambled for there on the floor in the past couple minutes. 9-6 ball game. Posting up on the inside is Ariel Harvey. She wants it, she gets it. She's going to go to the free throw line and shoot two. had some good matchups throughout this entire preseason shootout weekend. You talked about Team Elite Pointer earlier, them going up against Pistols Martin, a team they were able to defeat. They don't mind winning late games. They definitely play beyond their years.
Question for you guys is, are the Atlanta Celtics still an Adidas team?
Yes.
Huh. Judging by their footwear, Adidas haven't sent the box.
Well, the jerseys are Adidas.
Okay. Will they be going to Adidas Nationals next weekend?
Maybe that's when they'll pick up the shoes.
Yeah, we'll have to refer a couple of those questions to Daphne Pierce-Smith, the stapling coach over there.
Just asking.
She handles all things Celtics. Does a great job with these young ladies from a development standpoint, but also helping them as far as college programs and things of that nature.
Where is Adidas Nationals?
Well, you are the director of scouting. I think that I would defer to you, Kyle.
I don't know. I should know, maybe. Maybe I should know.
Celtics looking to run. They get a second opportunity. Strong take to the rack. No good by Tucker.
I know next week we'll have a ton of talent at 2 locations at Peach State Basketball where there'll be unlimited exposure and great hospitality here at Swanee Sports Academy in Atlanta, and at A Game where you'll be, Jonathan, in Franklin, Tennessee. So
yes, you're right. I will be the on-site director of the Tip-Off Classic in Franklin, Tennessee. Looking forward to that. Get to see our good friend and good coach Scott Johnson in the West Virginia Thunder program. That's always a pleasure to have him in the building. So,
good old Scott Johnson.
We'll have some of that action here for you on Prospects Nation TV. We'll have 4 games right here from Sewanee Sports Academy on that Friday. We'll have 4 games in Saturday from the Tip-Off Classic in Tennessee, and then we'll have 4 games apiece from both locations on Sunday. So be sure to tune in with us. So we'll be able to bring you plenty of that action live.
Sounds like you're going to be working hard, Marcus.
Oh, no doubt, man. But you can't call this working, man. We're around basketball, around some of the more knowledgeable minds in the girls' game. Can't beat it, bro.
I'll be sure to tell Brandon that when he writes your check.
No doubt, man. That's I got to get my my brown nose incentive there, man. That was an extra dub. 10-7.
It's a defensive battle here.
And I think we both kind of expected that going into it. With the way that both teams defend, the way both teams had to defend just to get to this point.
How about the gold headband here?
That's my girl Jada Hargrove there. She's EBA alum, Super 64, Fab 5, a couple years.
Add a little flair to the uniform.
Yeah, big fan of Jada.
So that counts as one piece of flair for Jada. Swearinger no good on the shot.
Anyway, we talked a little bit about Caitlin Duncan, but talk about some of the schools that are inquiring about the
Duncan, has garnered the interest of a number of schools from around the Southeast. Anywhere from Furman to, even Division II schools, such as Young Harris College have inquired about her. But quite honestly, this April weekend coming up is going to be very big for Caitlin. Georgia State has inquired, about Duncan and such. So it'll be interesting to see where Duncan, ends up. Who's going to call about her. I spoke to her actually at the APB showcase a few weeks ago, Adrian Penland's showcase, of course, and Caitlin said that her recruitment's still very much wide open, and She's looking at a few different schools and really just going to see what's available out there after the April weekend.
10-7 ball game, approaching the end of the first half. Kyle, you were able to actually be out there on the West Coast with Chris Hansen at this Check Me Out showcase. Any dynamics that you can give us as far as West Coast ball maybe versus this part of the country? Or at the end of the day, is the ball round, the rim round, it is what it is?
Well, I think while the ball is definitely round and the rim is definitely round, there's definitely some things that stood out as differences. Especially talk about just approach to the game. Where you talk about kids, like we saw earlier today, like a Quinicia Morris is a 2017 kid. Her energy, always in attack mode. West Coast kids, they play better together. A little bit more European in their feel. Can pass and shoot, and they'll screen and cut and do some different things like that. But they're also a little bit soft is a hard word to use, might be a little harsh, ironically, but for lack of a better term, they're a little bit softer. You're not going to see that grit, that toughness. Some Oakland kids and some kids from that NorCal area might have a little bit of it, but for the most part, it's definitely a more refined tea and biscuit type of game versus some of the grit that you can find out here on the East Coast.
So little Grey Poupon out there in the game, huh?
Yes, yes.
Skill and finesse, I think, are the words that you're looking for, Kyle.
There's some skilled players out here. Adrian Durr, you like Ted Cooper. You talk about Erica Cassell. There's some skilled kids out here, so I don't want to throw the skill thing. It's not schoolyard ball out here.
More finesse, I guess is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Soft.
One of the players I've really been impressed with today, and she might not have the gaudiest numbers, was Nasia Woolfolk.
Yes. She was impressive.
Yeah, man.
I thought that's a perfect example of the kid that's missing. I like you talk about my experience out there with Chris at his camp. A kid like Maylani Henson, a 2016 kid that I loved. I've already talked to some BCS schools out there, sent her name out to some people. A top 50, top 75 prospect of that 2016 class. She doesn't have that edge. She can shoot the three. She's about 6'1". She can do a lot of different things versatility-wise on the floor, but she doesn't have that edge the same way as a Woolfolk does. While Woolfolk doesn't necessarily have the same skill set, which is some of the stuff you were alluding to, John.
Caitlin Duncan with the deuce there to make it a 14-7 ball game.
I think if a good coach will find a way to get a collection of, you put a Woolfolk, a Tyler Gillespie next to an Allie Rosenblum or a Maylani Henson, and now you're cooking with grease where you've got some finesse and some edge.
I'll tell you another thing, man. When McKenna Pawenge sits down in that chair and moves her feet defensively, man, she is hard to get around.
Agreed. I sat with Belmont head coach Cam Newbauer in late February during the state playoff time, and we watched Pawenge play, and both of us really liked what she brought to the table in a playoff game. A good athlete, can make an open shot here and there.
You see Hargrove crank that one up. It's just to the left. Alexis Brown gonna come in, the floater.
Jonathan, talk about Alexis Brown's brother, Tukey Brown. I know you've had a chance to evaluate him with our On the Radar Hoop Scouting report. What type of player is her older brother?
Tukey, in a lot of ways, you could compare Tukey to a Taya Cooper-like type player. Strong, powerful, very good with the ball in his hands, will drive it, can get to the third level. Tukey might be a little bit undersized, maybe 5'11" or so. But when you talk about grit and toughness and those type of things that you bring to the table, Tukey's already committed to Mississippi State. Those intangible things from the guard position are what Alexis' older brother really brings to the floor. Actually had an opportunity this past weekend to watch Tookie play. Marcus was here with the SUV TV filming that. Tookie plays with ATL Express. And boy, just his ball handling and the way that he gets around ball screens and is, able to set up his teammate and score is really, really special. And Brandon Clay and I, talking about how with his play, what he has done, winning the state championship in Morgan County and, now the development and the progression now into the spring season. Don't be surprised to see if, class of 2015, Tookie start making some noise about a top 100 player, quite honestly, in the country.
That's not bad. Kawinge misses a three. Might have gotten tipped there. He was well short. A little backcourt pressure, and they get a jumper out of it.
Jumper knocked down by Raquel Cranston out of Shiloh High
School. This 16-10 score, Marcus, looks like we're well on our way to looks like we're on a 32-20 pace.
Well, relative this second half of the first installment, relative to the first one is, essentially heating up. If you compare it to the first half. This, these last minute and a half has been hibachi if you compare it to the first half of the game. So that is going to do it 16-10. We'll catch you back here after halftime.
And we're back. Georgia Hoopstars up 16-10. It's myself, Kyle Moore, with Jonathan Hemingway and Marcus Burnett.
Hey.
Gotta say, as somebody who's usually out on the road during Peach State events, I get to watch basketball all throughout the world, and there really is no place like home. Happy to be with the Peach State staff. Happy to see great coaching from people like Daphne Pierce-Smith and J.D. Davis and Omar Cooper. Got to see Al Martin coach today. Obviously, you talk about Team Pointer Elite and Kirk Pointer. He's done some great things with the clipboard. He's had to be on CoachME.com with some of the stuff he drew up today.
Well, some of the best things that you can do as a coach is just keep it simple, but also teach something.
I thought you were going to say some of the best things you can do as a coach is log on to CoachME.com.
Well, I mean, being a student of the game, it's always good to get new ideas, obviously, but, as coaches, we all got our little go-to things that we did, and we talked to Kurt after that game, actually, and the play that he was drawing up was the very same play that he drew up to win a game, actually, at the Power 48. Chris Watkins, actually, I think, being on the broadcast, actually saw that happening, and in fact, it was the same one, but Kirk is great. I said it in the earlier broadcast. I've got the utmost respect for him, with what he does, getting those girls not only to play hard, but keeping things simple, but also giving them some direction. Not just going 1-4 low or going ISO all the time. He gives them direction. He gives them purpose, and that's really what you got to do as a coach. You don't have to run a complicated continuity all of the time to be considered a great coach. Heck, just get your best player, positioned to score. That's what good coaching is all about.
6-point advantage here for the Hoopstars. They try to claim this championship here at the PSB preseason shootout. Here's Tucker with the floater.
One of the things we talked a little bit about West Coast basketball, neither team has multiple kids on the floor right now that can knock down open shots consistently. And I think so what that does, why we're kind of in an 18-14 game, is that puts such an onus on people having to drive the ball, get to the rim, defense is rotating. And when you've got two well-coached teams, two teams that are going to play defense and rotate and help the helper, it makes it really hard to score. You've got to have kids, that can consistently knock down open shots.
That's such a great point, Kyle, and this is something I've been talking about for a while in the broadcast for Marcus, is that you've got to have space stretchers, as we see Tucker here try to stretch. Comes up a little short with that. That's why a kid like, quite honestly, Caitlin Duncan, her teammate last year, Amber Schedule, that played with Deep South Elite, those type of kids actually make the game easier for an Alex Frazier when you can stretch the court. When Poenge's on, she provides that stretch, pulls the defense out of the lane. When there's not those space stretchers, so to speak, now Alex Frazier and Swearinger, now they have to shoot over their defender, another defender. And quite honestly, with the athleticism and how hard these kids play, there's just not going to be a lot of easy shots, as you see yet another contested shot, here in the lane by Walker.
Nice job of tying it up by Caitlin Duncan.
I watched one of my favorite coaches in all Division I is a guy named John Beeline, coaches at Michigan on the guys' side. And I was watching some videos of their practice this week, and they spend 15 to 30 minutes of every practice, the first 15 to 30 minutes of every practice, working on skill stuff, working on shooting, working on ball handling, and it's just like camp, it's stations. 7.5, 10 minutes, 3 stations, 4 stations, skill stuff. Shooting, dribbling, passing, some dummy pick and roll coverage stuff just to be sharp with how they want to cover ball screens. But just that 30 minutes a day, let's say you practice 5 times a week, that's 2.5 hours where you just got shots up, where you just got ball handling done. And that pays off dividends throughout the period of a whole season. And, for coaches out there listening to this telecast, that's one of the things that I see so many kids that just can't consistently knock down jumpers, to the point where if you can, you become such a valuable commodity that you can't do anything else, so you're still valuable because you can just knock down open shots.
you make a point like that, Kyle, it really makes me think of a player like an Alexa Middleton, you know, the McDonald's All-American, and the number of reps that she just gets. You know, I can't remember how many I saw her get just those couple days when we were in Tennessee for the Coach Hemi Showcase.
She tries to make 200 to 300 shots a day. And, you know, I said that to somebody, and they were like, that's it? And I said to them, if you just make 1,000 shots a week, how much better of a basketball player you can be. Like, it's not one of those things where you need to go in the gym for 4 hours or it's got to become this long, arduous process. Get in the gym, 30 minutes, get shots up, make shots, and get out. 45 minutes. And it's not, like, for a kid like Alexa Middleton, who isn't the most athletic, she's about 5'8", 5'9", she's not overly gifted with size, but the fact that she can knock down shots from all 3 levels, and she got her to Tennessee.
Yeah, great point, Kyle. And that's really one of the emphasis that actually you and Brandon started with the Elite Basketball Academy years ago at Bogan Park, is just putting that emphasis on skill development. Because as I've watched so many games, you know, at the Peach State basketball tournaments, rarely do I see a team that just comes out and doesn't play hard. I can't think of, you know, not even a handful of times where I just said, boy, that team just gave up. These girls come in here and they play hard. They go at it. You know, coaches coach them up and say, hey, let's get after it. Let's play defense. I see that so many times. But what I do see a lot of, and what does stick out in my mind, how many times do we miss layups? How many times do we miss free throws? How many times does the defense really pressure you and you can't go left? And not necessarily in these championship games, but, you know, what about in the 5th place games, the 7th place games? You know, these are obviously some of the better players that we have in the tournament right here. You know, what about all of those other games? And quite honestly, kids just need to spend time. But you made such a great point. It doesn't have to be 2-3 hours. I heard a great quote long ago that it's more important to spend 30 minutes, you know, in the gym going 100% versus being in the gym 100 minutes and only going 30%.
I agree with that so much. You talk about what we look at when we evaluate players. If I see a kid hit 2 one-dribble pull-ups with the correct footwork in a game, I automatically know she's a scholarship player. It's that simple. Because it's one of those things where I see so many kids that just don't even have it in their game. A one-dribble right-left, one-dribble left-right pull-up. Defense is closing out because you've already...
Right on cue, Alex Frazier with the pull-up.
Good elevation, everything. But Alex Frazier is a scholarship player.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's going to go to UConn. But what I am saying is she can play somewhere because she has that shot in her game.
Steaming, beaming with the bucket there off the glass. As the Celtics call a timeout, it's now an 8-point advantage by the Georgia Hoopstars.
You know, if there's one thing in the Atlanta area that we're blessed with, I think we're blessed with tremendous athleticism. You know, you talk about the length and, you know, just the number of athletes that we have from Gwinnett County to Cobb County to south of the city, Henry County, and all the way down. I think that if we get unfairly pigeonholed, fairly or unfairly, we don't have the type of skill that maybe a Middle Tennessee area has. When you look at, and certainly sometimes our kids can definitely earn scholarships and earn money just on being able to run and jump, because hey, you take a 5'11" athlete and you put them up there in the Midwest, boy, that they're going to be a game changer because of all that. I think that there's so much growth for us in the Atlanta area, particularly if we can get our athleticism, or I should say our skill, to meet our athleticism. Now we're going to be truly, you know, the heart of women's basketball, really in the country for that matter.
Stuff, man. That monologue kind of got me amped up for basketball in the Peach State, Hemi. You know, Almost pumped my fist a couple times on that one, bro. But you're definitely right, man. And I think Gwinnett County is a great example of that when you look at the different programs that you have and the players. You know, we got a lot of solid Gwinnett County representatives that we just saw here today.
And the one thing I can say to add on top of that is, I see too many trainers with tennis balls and ladders and all these gimmicks. Get a one dribble pull up. Learn to shoot, learn to dribble, learn to pass. If you can't, I told a kid at Chris Hansen's camp, vanilla ice cream. And she looked at me crazy, and I said, vanilla ice cream. And she was like, what are you talking about? I said, if you go into an ice cream shop and they don't have good vanilla ice cream, they don't have good ice cream. If you watch a good basketball player and they don't have fundamentals, they're not going to be good. I don't care what you're doing as an ice cream shop. If your vanilla's not good, your cookies and cream's not going to be good, your Rocky Road's not going to be good, you got to have good vanilla ice cream. You might not want to get the vanilla ice cream, but you can't have chocolate chip cookie dough without vanilla ice cream. You can't have a good basketball player without a one dribble pull-up, without a strong right and left hand. Just simple basketball fundamentals.
I know what I'm getting as soon as I leave the facility, man. You really just talked up 2 scoops of cookie dough ice cream from Baskin Robbins, man. I'm there ASAP. But great analogy, man. Too many. Everybody's focused on the stupendous flavors. What about the basic vanilla, man?
That's my favorite type of ice cream, Kyle, is vanilla.
I like vanilla bean myself, but just to add a little funk to it. Basic with a little funk.
Tiana Swearinger checks back into the game.
I thought you were more like a chocolate man myself.
No, man. Very vanilla myself. It sticks to my repertoire. I told you I'm a finesse guy. I like to shoot, man. Give me my space.
As we see the crab dribble there, AKA the travel. Jada Bird, true to Atlanta, all gold, everything. Got the headband.
She's swagging. She even got the Adidas shoes like she was on the team last year.
She was on the team last year. Just a step down.
The 15 team.
Yeah.
So the Adidas shipment hasn't come in. I guess they gave it to Damian Lillard when they gave him that $100 million.
Walker all the way, can't finish though. Rebound by Duncan.
Here's a crazy thought about Damian Lillard's $100 million. If they gave him $99 million and put $1 million in the girls' basketball, they would dominate.
Man, that does make you kind of think a little bit.
I always tell people, man, I should be running the world.
And how much did you say Nike paid LeBron?
Nike paid LeBron $100 million. Adidas paid Damian Lillard $100 million. What's wrong with this picture? Kevin Durant got 60.
Wait, I tell you what, Lillard's agent, he's got juice. He's that deal.
The MVP of the year of life.
7 minutes, 9 seconds left to play in this one. We'll take a short break for the time.
Speaking of skill and athleticism, are we live? Yeah. Speaking of skill and athleticism, Kayla Davis just came over. Working a Peach State event this weekend.
She's pretty skilled, I would say. 18 points, 6 rebounds. Didn't average a full assist a game, so we got to get that right for next year.
You're kidding.
Nah, like 0.8.
I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have laughed.
Sorry, she's got 3 years to fix that.
Rondo by Swearinger.
I like Swearinger a lot. JD was really talking her up last fall when she was added to the team. She catches you off guard. I mean, she's not the type of kid that you're going to watch in layup lines and say, oh, yeah, this kid's a stud, but this is effective. And you talked about fundamentals and you talked about doing things the right way. She's got sneaky fundamentals, good footwork, soft touch in the mid-range. And thus the reason why Coach Davis was telling me that a number of schools had already been calling and such.
Left to right, right to left with the crosses there. Can't get the shot to go, though. Well, we've had some great players, some great coaches here today, but I have to give the crowd some credit here today. I don't believe I've had one Nene sighting here today. And I got to give the crowd credit for it. I know it's trending, man, but I'll be honest, it's been overkill the past few tournaments we've webcasted as far as the Nene craze.
I saw 2 8-year-old boys going back and forth at one another, actually, yesterday.
I haven't gotten to do her yet. Which means at least
no. It's Peach State basketball here. You know, there's no do-her offense around here. Hoopstars really getting this thing going. Started with Swearinger. Swearinger hit that nice little step back there at the top of the key, and now Coach Davis really amping up the defense and patented Hoopstars full court pressure.
Who do you think was the best player to ever wear a Georgia Hoopstars uniform?
Well, I'm going to leave somebody out. You're really putting me on the spot here. I mean, Kiana Holland obviously comes to mind as one. You know, Kalia Mitchell, you know, alongside her. But you probably got a better memory than I do when it comes back to those 06, 07 teams. The kid that went to Central Florida.
Angelica.
Yeah.
I remembered her last name, but Angelica was her first name.
Right.
Sade Wolcott that went to Georgia Tech. Jasmine Blaine that went to Georgia Tech.
Jasmine Blaine, right.
I mean, J.D. Davis has had quite a roster of players. Definitely, like you said, Kiana Holland for sure. I would have to say overall, Kiana Holland probably.
Yeah.
You know, transferred from Duke this year, sitting out at Ohio State, will be eligible in January.
I never got a chance to watch JD's daughter, but they said his daughter could really hoop back in the day.
Okay.
We'll have to get JD on a broadcast, maybe a little halftime interview or something like that. You know, a little.
Sounds good to me.
A little all-star.
Sounds like something we do in Augusta.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
4 minutes, 2 seconds left to play in this one. 10-point advantage for the Hoopstars, who have been relatively saucy on offense, I'd say, the past couple minutes. Celtics still in the game, though. Tucker leaves that one short. It'll stay with the Celtics.
Certain amount of fatigue is probably set in as well.
Another kid from Morgan County, number 11, Tatiana Davis. 2017 kid, number 11 in black. Really like what I've seen out of her over the past couple of days. Kyle Marcus, young kid. I think she was at our EBA Top 40 camp, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
The thing about Frazier, she's not going to be scared to take any contact at the next level. That's for certain.
No. She's going to dish them out as well. She's on that Q Morrison, Kyra Gillespie, all physical, no nonsense guard team.
Right, all need a mouthpiece guard team. Mouthpiece required guard team. They're no joke.
I think Gillespie's one of those people that's mad at breakfast.
Her and Tamaya Butler for sure. Butler stays wearing a scowl.
The advantage is now 13 for the Hoopstars.
And nice right-handed finish there by Rain Beeman. She's a tricky player. She actually shoots left-handed, but she loves to finish right-handed, if that makes sense. I don't know why, but she does.
Be like that sometimes.
You mentioned fatigue. It definitely seems like more of a factor for the Celtics than it does the Hoopstars, who are playing with a second wind of sorts.
You got to remember with the Easter weekend here, the time in between games is a little bit shorter than it usually would be. So we're talking about kids that probably would have had 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 hours between games and now only had about 3. But they're kids. They should be able to fight through this. They're young.
And they'll be able to relax and enjoy their Easter Sunday tomorrow. They'll have some recoup time there as well.
Best Easter candy. What is it, fellas? What do y'all got?
I'm not really a candy guy, to be honest. I'm gonna let you roll with that, Hemi.
Oh, okay. I always like the chocolate bunny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I definitely did like the Peeps, those marshmallows with the glitter on them.
No.
That never made me smile.
It's kind of gross.
Even though every year I always ate one and wondered why I did it.
I just realized I never really liked Easter candy growing up. I always liked the Cadbury Bunny commercials.
Right.
I never really had a candy that I liked, man, for some reason.
We're getting a phone-in selection right here.
Looks like we've got a delay game going on.
Run out the clock game, that's what this is about.
It's the old Dean Smith 4 corners. I don't know about this matchup. We might have an ankle alert. It's like an Ambler alert, but basketball version.
Oh.
Actually, good defense there.
Yeah. Stayed at home. Always
a lot of hands there, yeah.
Watch the torso. Don't go for the head fake.
So true. Can't go anywhere without your torso. Got a new body in, number 10 checks in. Haven't seen her all game.
Number 10 is Sydney Nash, also out of Morgan County.
Morgan County sounds far too. I don't care where you are, going down to Morgantown County sounds like it's a trip.
Yeah, it'll take you a little bit of time down 20.
Kyle, for a guy that has more frequent flyer miles than everybody around here, I don't see how you get off saying, oh, that's so far.
If it doesn't require a trip to the airport, it's not on Kyle's radar.
Agreed.
You know, you got to have stamps in your passport to mess with young Kyle.
Touche, Mr. Henry, touche. As I prepare to fly to Portugal, and I don't even remember where the other 2 places are.
You know the capital of Portugal?
Lisbon.
Nice. I was hoping I could make up for not having an Easter candy as a favorite, but you got me there. And the Georgia Hoopstars get the Atlanta Lady Celtics here in the Brandon Clay PSB Bracket Championship. Thanks for joining us here on Prospects Nation TV. Marcus Burnett, he's Kyle Moore, who's J.L. Hemingway. We'll catch you back here next week. Thanks for joining us.